Okay. Hello, I'm Gary Erickson, President of Wyndfall Financial, a holistic wealth management and tax preparation service. And I am in Hamilton, Montana, which is about 50 miles south of Missoula. This is our third tutorial regarding cash flow management. And I'll share my screen here with you. Okay. There we go. All right. Here's the itinerary. I'm running a little bit late. Today we're going to talk about determining expenses. We have an overview here of what a cash flow statement consists of. It's a beginning cash balance plus income, less expenses, and an ending cash balance. And the purpose of all this is to let the business owner predict a cash crunch, and so he could be prepared and proactively seek funding. All right, so last week we covered sales forecasting, and that's tutorial number 2. You can go back and review that. Today we're going to cover expenses. So we have estimated expenses. First step, estimated expenses. Okay, here's our sales forecast, estimated expenses. You go back and off of previous year's profits and loss statements, determine what your average percentage of sales goes to that particular expense. So you can see the formula here. Okay, it's we've determined in the past that 3.9% of our budget goes to advertising and marketing. 3.9% of sales forecasted. Okay, so that came up with 11,500 for the month of January. We simply carry that through the rest of the months and the rest of the categories. And when you get that done, what I like to go back and do, I says, okay, I'm expecting to grow 15% this year. So what's that mean? Well, depending on your business, it might mean salaries and wages might go up. You might have to put another salesman on. Inventory might go up because you're going to be carrying more inventory. Maybe advertising and marketing to promote your growth. Usually utilities is going to stay about the same unless you expand your facility. Taxes might go up with increased revenue, things like that. So once you get your template built, you can go through and adjust your percentages to maybe better reflect what you anticipate is going to happen. Okay, so you build this, and then what I do is I go in, my beginning cash balance for the month of January was $50,000. My sales, this is an estimated expense template, so I'm using estimated sales. So 50,000 plus 292 less estimated expenses, 283, gives me an ending cash balance of $58,822. Okay, then just something if you want to try it is here is an if-then statement. And if you click on here, click on a cell, hit equals, hit the little function key, if. You'll get the the function arguments. So the logical test is if my ending cash flow is less than my stipulated minimum balance, and in this case it's false because $58,000 is not less than 50. So if the value, if it's true, if my ending cash balance for the month of January was less than my stipulated minimum, then it's yes. Actually, you got to do this. You got to put it in quotation marks. Yes. And if it's not, no. And there it is. Center it. And then if you want, let's see here. Let's fix this. F4 pins that 50,000 in our formula. And you can drag this across. Now, if you want, you can say, just for fun, conditional forecasting, highlight cell rules, text that contains, so text that contains the word yes, I'm going to highlight yellow to warn me. Okay. So let's say, for example, this cell was only 35,000. Okay. That's how that goes. Okay. So that's our estimated sheet. So that tells me, okay, in my opinion, my forecast, my best estimate of sales and my best estimate of expenses, that I'm not going to have any months in the next year that my ending cash balance is going to be less than my stipulated minimum. Okay. Then I'm just playing around. Let's say, let's give myself a little bit more margin. 75,000 is my new minimum. Well, the first 2 months right out of the gate are short. So if this is November, December, and we're going into 2021, if this is going to be 2021, okay, then I might want to be starting to talk to bankers if I need to get a short-term loan. Okay. Okay. Now, if you'll see what then I'll do the same thing with actual. These are my actual sales. These are my, let's see here, actual expenses. I plot at the end of each month, I record my expenses. Now, the reason I do this and I go back and forth is this number here, variance, sales variance. What's the difference between what I forecasted and what I actually received, right? And then you want to go, why? That's the power, the real power of these statements is why. Why did I earn $70,000 more than I anticipated? But then if you look forward, holy schmoly, April, I'm expecting $137,000 difference. How come? Well, I'm not expecting it. I realized because the actual is after the fact. So I suffered $137,000, $138,000 shortage. How come? All right. And then down here at the bottom, actual expenses, estimated expenses, there's the formula. Actual less estimated, so I'm consistent. So my actual expenses, for the most part, are a little bit more, about $10,000 a month more than what I estimated. So then I come back up here and where is that being reflected? Sales right there, $158,000 in salaries. And I do the same, and it's kind of redundant, but I come back here and I do the same thing here. I just reverse the order, estimated over actual. And over on this side, it's actual over estimated. But again, it's that variance is what I'm looking for, because I want to know why there's that big of a difference and something that really stands out. Let's see if there's one here. Well, again, it's all about $10,000. But up here, the variance there, that's huge. That 1 month right there for something that might have been COVID shutdown, huh? That really hit us until we got back on our feet and started doing online sales and curbside service, something like that. That might be why. That's how that's reflected. So estimated versus actual. I put it together. Same thing. Ending cash flow is, let me double click. Income, our beginning cash flow plus messed up. That should be D7. Okay. Beginning cash flow plus actual sales minus actual expenses equals, or less actual expenses equals actual ending cash flow. Oh, okay, look at that. So at starting that one bad month, April, that huge hit I took in income affects me for the rest of the year. So I'm going to be wanting to be looking for financing for those 3 years. And then you can add, you can say, oh, how much am I going? Well, I'm going to end up all right, but just I'm going to be weak. I'm going to have a cash crunch. So you could do something like this. I'd go, what's the sum of, let's say that's where it started. So $20,000 short, or actually even better, you could do something like this, average. So my average shortfall is $2,000. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 18, 20,000. So I'd probably ask to borrow $50,000. Okay, because here's a good rule of thumb. Write this over here. Here's another good rule of thumb. Okay, it says, so when you're doing all this, cut your income in half and double your, when you're doing your estimates and anticipating cash flows going forward, or if you're buying a business, this is huge. If you're buying a business, I've seen this, I don't know how many times, but I always tell people when they come in for advice about buying a business, I say, well, cut your income in half, your proposed buy, your proposed business you're thinking about buying, cut the income in half and double your expenses, and that's what your first couple 3 years are going to look like. That'll give you a pretty good idea what's going on. So, okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, if you want me to send you these web pages, I can just email them to you. Just request a copy of my spreadsheet at gary@wyndfallfinancial.com. Tell them you picked it up off the tutorials and that you want a copy of the spreadsheets. And I'd be happy to send them to you. Next week, we're going to start talking about financing. We're going to start putting it all, we put it all together in one final spreadsheet, and then we're going to start talking about financing and how to romance a banker and where you can get financing and what you're looking for and some of the things I've learned over the years about what to avoid. So, well, that's it for today. Short and sweet. Like I said, if you have any questions or want a copy of that spreadsheet, send me an email and we'll see you next week. Thanks.